today from Cover My Bubble. Hi Emma, thanks for spending time with us this evening.
Thank you.
I wanted to talk to you all first just a little bit about why we've asked Cover My Bubble to talk to us tonight. The Penniless Parent started as an online sort of photo album and a bit of a diary, I suppose, of things we were doing. Just a way of capturing those memories. I suppose as time went on, I started sort of exploring my writing and taking it from just talking about days out with the kids to maybe exploring my mental health and talking about the separation I went through with the kids' dad. It's been really successful. We've reached over 1,000 followers now. It's been sort of so lovely to have people reading my blog and talking about the Penniless Parent. But what I found myself in the other week was a really funny situation where my Instagram got copied or something. So somebody came on pretending to be the Penniless Parent. They took my photo, set up a new Instagram with the same tag name, except they put a little underscore at the bottom. And it was really horrible because they basically invited all my followers to sort of follow them. And a lot of my friends didn't realise that it was any different. And luckily, Emma at Cover My Bubble cottoned onto it and was like, Sarah, I'll share this and just make sure people know what's going on. So we managed to stop it, and Instagram took the site down and stuff. But it was scary, I suppose, because I thought I've worked on the Penniless Parent for the last 2 years, and it's my little baby. It's like, I love it. It's for a go-to to write about things. I love chatting to people when they comment on posts and things like that. And to think that somebody was masquerading as me and potentially commenting as me made me really nervous and showed me sort of how vulnerable we can be, I suppose. From this introduction, I got chatting to Emma about what it is she does, and we realised that there's quite a lot of things to do with insurance that maybe as parents we should know a little bit more about than we do. So can you just start by explaining what Cover My Bubble is?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Emma from Cover My Bubble. I've been in the insurance industry really for over 10 years now, and really been passionate about insurance. Now, 2 years ago, we decided to do it ourselves. A lot of people kept saying, do it, Emma, do it. But I was just a bit scared. But then sat around with my family, and my husband came up with the name Cover My Bubble. And that was it. That was perfect, because we've always called my family my bubble, always. So I can't wait to go on holiday with my bubble. Can't wait to be with my bubble. And, you know, we've all got one, whether that be our home, our children, our partner. And we want to be able to cover your bubble with the right insurance products. So that could be life insurance, income protection, or critical illness. So the reason why we started the company is we actually lost our daughter in 2006, and we had no insurance in place at all. I couldn't work, I couldn't get off the settee, I couldn't think to do anything. I went into labour at 24 and a half weeks. And then got rushed to one hospital, and they did say she is coming, but they didn't have a bed for me, so I had to get moved again to another hospital. And things settled down, and my husband went home, and then the next thing, the doctor said I could get up and go to the toilet. I weren't bedridden anymore, and went to the toilet, and next thing Lily was born straight away. Bless her, she was born in the toilet in the hospital. So it was just horrendous. Imagine just trying to scoop her out, and then she got rushed off, and I was in a bit bad way, bleeding, so I had to stay in a room, and I was in there for hours being looked after. So yeah, but no, I was really positive because she was doing so well in that first few days, and then after a week she had her bowel burst, so she had to go and have an operation on that, and didn't think she'd survive it at all. We got moved to Manchester, and she survived it. You know, she had less than 10%, and she survived. So to us, we were so hopeful, and we started feeding her a little bit because she was doing really well. And then a week later, it burst again further down, and we didn't think she'd survive another operation. She was just too tiny, but she did. And we just thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But then as she were growing, we were in the 3rd week, and she started developing like little signs of edema and other things as well. and she had 2 brain hemorrhages because she'd probably banged her head in the toilet. And they did say she was going to be, you know, severely disabled, really. But we were fine with that. We just thought, we're fine. She's doing really, really well, so positive. And then in like the last few days, really, we had her for a month. And in the last few days, they diagnosed that she had meningitis in and around the brain. So she just wasn't going to be able to survive that. So we had to, we could see she was in pain. So we had the choice whether we could just let her pass away naturally or take her to a little room and say goodbye, which we chose to do. We thought it was better for her. And yeah, she just fell asleep in our arms, and we were in that room for hours, really. It was just nice to be with her. And, you know, we still remember it as such. But just walking out that hospital with a little box that we have was really crappy. Yeah, that wasn't the nice bit. If only we'd have just had some insurance or known about it. I was only, I can't think how old I was. 25, 26, and you don't think that you need insurance and the effects it can have. So we share our story, as personal as it is, because I just want to try and help as many families as possible be covered, because you just don't think that it's ever going to affect you. Now, 4 years after we lost Lily, I then suffered from a mini stroke. I sat outside school waiting to pick my 2 young sons up, and yeah, just felt really poorly. My husband come and picked me up, and then a day or 2 later I got diagnosed as a mini stroke. Again, no insurance, and it just really, really affected us. But that went on for over 10 years, that it affected us financially, in and out of debt, just struggling to find money to pay bills. So yeah, that's really why we do, just to try and raise awareness and help as many families as possible.
How did you get out of that time when you say you were on the sofa, you took to drinking, and like, as many do? Like, how did you?
So difficult. I didn't get any help at all, and that's what made it hard. I kept trying. Like, my son was 5 at the time, or nearly 5 at the time, and I couldn't think to get up and put a wash on, get up and make tea, or look after my son. So my mother-in-law helped quite a bit, and it was one day that the local vicar came and knocked on the door months and months later, and I was still a bit of a mess, and I just burst out crying. He didn't know what to do, bless him, and he only came round to, you know, just say hello and hope that I was okay. And from then on, I actually can't remember. I just remember then that the midwife that looked after Lily at Manchester, she was called Claire. She was lovely, kind-hearted lady. She was beautiful. And I didn't know this. She was a bereavement counsellor as well as a nurse. And she travelled from Manchester and started doing some counselling sessions with me. And that just helped me get a little bit more clearer. And then I ended up being pregnant with Oliver afterwards. And it was a horrendous pregnancy. I just was so frightened to death the whole way through. So she arranged for me to have weekly scans and get checked. And then when Oliver was born, I couldn't let him go. I couldn't even let my husband go and take him to bed. I would just, nobody is touching my son. And, you know, so I suffered a lot for years. I'd say 2 or 3 years mentally. But really, for me, what helped, because I didn't get any support from the NHS, unfortunately, just because of, I don't know why, doctor didn't refer, or I don't know what happened really. And I don't think I knew enough about self-referral or anything like that there. I just wasn't educated right and didn't know enough to get help myself. We have a fantastic charity called Lancashire Women, and they help people with mental health or debt issues or anything, abuse. So I think the local charities are helping a lot more, and people are talking more. Like, I've kept this in for so long, and like my anxiety, I started last February really bad with my anxiety, and I never told anyone. I thought because I was a business owner and I had to be strong, I was the face of the company, and it made it worse. It really did. But then through Instagram, I found Instagram in January this year, and it's just blown me away. The support that the mums on this platform are unbelievable. I've been able to talk about Lily. I've been able to talk about my feelings. I've been able to chat with mums and help them. It's been it has been amazing. It really, really has. The support that people are helping each other and talking more is just, yeah, it's just phenomenal, really.
I don't really know what to say to you when you talk about having lost Lily, because that it just must have been the most horrific thing to go through. From an insurance point of view in that situation, if you had had insurance, what would that have meant to you? What difference would it have made to your life?
Well, really, if we'd have had insurance in place, I would have had my income replaced. So I wouldn't have, I couldn't go to work. I couldn't think to get off the settee most days, and actually took to drinking alcohol to help with the pain. So if I'd have just had that regular monthly payment still coming in, we would have been able to pay our rent, we would have been able to pay our monthly bills, because we're all used to that money. We all live within our means mostly, and not many people have that much savings to one side in case something happens. So really, if we'd have had that money in place, my grief would have been a lot easier, if that makes sense, because I had the grief of losing Lily, but then also a grief of having financial stress and financial worry. My husband were working all hours and, just struggling to find £10 to put in petrol.
What you needed was your husband to be there by your side, but then he needed to work to carry on providing for the family. As a sort of mid-30s mum myself, if someone says insurance to me, I think, well, I've got car insurance, check. My phone's insured, check. I've got home insurance because the mortgage says I have to have. And actually, we had life insurance because it was a prerequisite of the mortgage. I don't really know what anything on it is about.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand how an insurance can be a benefit to them. But really, there's only, 40% of our clients actually have a mortgage. The rest of them are renting. And really, if you have got a partner, you've got to think of, if you lose them or they suffer from a critical illness, you're going to lose that income into the family as well. So really, by having the insurance in place for the parents, you're going to then receive a lump sum that's going to help you if anyone does pass away or suffer from cancer, heart attack, stroke. There's over 80 odd different conditions that are covered. But even if it's a single mum, that reassurance of having a lump sum payment that can be left to your children, so that somebody, if they were going to look after them, if it wasn't the father, they have that reassurance that they've got a really good lump sum to give them children a good future. But not only life insurance, it's critical illness. Not many people know that they can have the children covered as well for critical illnesses. And they're the fourth claimed upon for cancer, which is just shocking that, that happens. But everyone needs some form of insurance, really.
Definitely. I mean, you've talked briefly about critical illness cover. Can you just explain to me the difference between life insurance, critical illness cover, and also personal accident insurance? Mm-hmm. I used to work as an aerobics instructor, and it was freelance, so self-employed. And people would always sort of contact me and say, really, you should have personal accident cover and things. And I sort of never really knew the difference between them.
I know it can be so complicated, but actually it is when you go online and you're looking at all the different things and you think, oh gosh, I don't know what I need. But basically, life insurance is there to pay out a lump sum if somebody passes away. So if anything happened to your partner, you'd receive a lump sum. And then if anything happened to you, that then could be left to the children. Or, there's then the mortgage protection, which is life insurance again, but it just pays off the mortgage. Or there's critical illness, and that basically gives you another lump sum payout if you were to suffer from a critical illness. Now, all the different providers have different terms and conditions, but there's, over 80 different conditions that are covered on that policy. So if you were diagnosed with breast cancer, you could receive a lump sum payout, which, depending on affordability, could be the amount of the mortgage, or it could be a year's salary. We'll always try to make it affordable, because some insurance is better than none at all. And then there's income protection, which I think they changed the name of the names of the insurances over the years. And now basically that just means if you're unable to work due to accident or sickness or injury, you will receive a monthly regular payment to help replace some of your income that you're used to getting from work if you can't, you're unable to work, really.
I'm type 1 diabetic. So when it comes to life insurance for myself, I spend ages going forward and back through different people and different doctors signing things off. Can type 1 diabetics get personal accident insurance or critical illness cover?
Yeah, it's a bit difficult with certain medical conditions. People might then tend to put exclusions or decline insurance. But what we tend to do is we'll have a quick chat with the clients, get an understanding on what they need covering, what they already have, and then we'll go through any medical conditions to see if anything will stop them from getting insurance. So with diabetes, sometimes, yes, there's going to be exclusions, or there would be a decline there on any critical illnesses. But again, that's something that I will worry about. I'll take all the information, I'll go and ring round all the different providers on your behalf, and I'll search for, you know, the best policy out there to give you the best cover as well.
Brilliant. So is that the key difference, I suppose, from Cover My Bubble? It's not like I'm sort of ringing one of the big insurance brokers that are just going to say yes or no to me.
Yeah, massively. I think I've been doing it long enough now to I just want to make sure families are covered. It's just so important to us. And, you know, you can see our Trustpilot reviews and what people say on our social media. I love just, you know, helping clients as much as I can, and I will go above and beyond to try and get them some cover. I've argued with providers and underwriters to try and challenge what the decision has been, and I've won on some of them cases because I really do want that family to have insurance. So yeah, I think we are different. I think because of what we've been through and that pain that we've felt, you know, I know how it is to worry about bills being posted through the door and we can't pay them, checking the bank account and not being able to pay the direct debits that are coming out because we've no money, and not answering the phone because people are chasing money. I felt that, and you know, it's that pain that is still there with us as a family. We've been there, so we don't want anyone to go through what we did, really. We're like a comparison site to ourselves, really. So, you know, people will go online and they'll get confused with all of the different jargon on there, but it's, you come to us and we will search the whole of market for our clients because we have access to that. But the best thing is that we're doing it and you're not getting stressed and not understanding it and then putting it off. So by coming through to us, we're doing all that for you and just giving you then, you know, presenting everything to you. So then it's a lot easier.
I would definitely vouch for when you say that there's people on your social media and on Trustpilot that have sort of really sort of raved about your sort of persistence on things. Because I mean, you could have completely ignored the fact that I put a post out saying I've been cloned and somebody had taken my account, and you didn't. You saw it and you thought, I want to help that person, and you shared it and you helped me. So, you know, I can see that that's definitely part of who you are.
Yeah, just always want to help people. It's just something that I don't know, I've always been like that. And you know, one of the success stories that we've had during lockdown is we had a client who took out a policy in November 2018, but she told me that her mum had ovarian cancer, so that meant that she had an exclusion on her policy, and she was only 42 at the time, but totally happy with the exclusion. She understood it, was happy with it. And a few months ago, she was diagnosed with breast cancer herself. And she came to me and she said, Emma, I can't believe the only thing I've excluded on the policy, and I can't have the payout on the critical illness. So she sat down with her mum and told her mum what had happened and about the exclusion. And her mum said, what do you mean, you silly sod? I didn't have ovarian cancer. I had abnormal cells. So Sarah rang me back and just said, can you believe what's happened? I've told you the wrong information and I'm now not going to receive a payout. Well, I weren't having that. So I contacted her mum's GP surgery. We got 20 pages of documents from 37 years ago, and confirmed that it wasn't that. We sent it to the provider and I asked them to remove the exclusion. They did. And quite a few weeks ago, she actually received the critical illness payout, and that's made a massive difference to that family because her husband and her son all have to isolate with her now while she's having chemotherapy. So they're all lost their income, they're all on sick pay. So that critical illness payment now, she's no worries. She doesn't need to worry about, bills coming out because she has the money now there for 12 months to pay for everything. So that's just made her treatment a lot easier.
Oh,
So
so
yeah,
much less stressful.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I suppose one concern I'd have is a lot of my readers, if they're anything like me, they're possibly struggling to afford things every month. They're probably thinking, well, you know, life insurance, maybe it won't happen. Maybe it won't happen to me, because it's another payment to go out. It's another direct debit to have to go out. Are there ways to sort of bundle insurances together? Is that something that can be done where you sort of team your life insurance up with your home insurance? I don't know.
Yeah, don't do it with like the home insurance as such. We just do it as, you know, all of our clients that come through, every family is different. So all we'll do is chat with them. We'll discuss what they need cover for. And it's quite easy. If they don't have a mortgage, it is a lot easier because we can do as many options as possible. And if it is £10 a month they can afford, I'll offer them, say, 30,000 life insurance, 10,000 critical illness, but that might be up until the age of 70 or for 25 years. I will keep tweaking the policy till it suits them. But I think when they come through and they understand they can have their children covered on their critical illness as well, that benefit becomes a lot more important to them, knowing that the whole family is covered on that insurance policy. But to me, affordability is massive. I wish we had have had someone like me years ago telling me how they can help us and what insurance we need, because we probably would have afforded that £10 back then, and it had helped us massively.
Yeah, so for example, I suppose my life insurance at the moment is 30 something pounds a month, I think I pay. And so what you're saying is basically you would look at that, and if I say, look, £30 a month, it's just too expensive, you could say, right, well, you're not going to get as much cover, but if you pay £10 a month, at least you're going to get something as opposed to nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, it might be that it depends. Every family is different. So if you've got a mortgage, you might need £100,000 on your life insurance because, you know, if that happens, you want to make sure that that mortgage is covered. But, you know, we are there to make sure that we give you some cover rather than nothing at all, depending on your circumstances. So we'll always chat through it and just make sure we present you then with, I usually give about 3 or 4 different options, present it to the clients by email, and then they'll just, we'll be back and forth just tweaking it then until it does match affordability. But, you know, it's something I always go on about with my clients. Affordability, it has to be. Yeah. No point, because if you take it out and it's too much money and you think, oh gosh, it's £40 a month, you know, some companies will say, no, this is what you need and you have to have it. But then 2 months later or 6 months later, you might cancel it and then something happens. Well, no, I'd rather you be spending £25 a month. You've got the cover there, but, you know, you're always going to keep it then in place for the future if something was to happen.
Yeah, yeah. How many of you are in the office?
There's just 4 of us, but 5 of us, my husband, don't forget him. So yeah, there's 5 of us in the office. So I've got Gemma, who does some of the selling with me as well, and then I have Joanna, who does all the customer services and emails all the clients all the documents. Then we have Jess, who's on marketing, and then my husband, who does like the marketing side and the account side of the business as well, and all the social media, because I'm rubbish at it.
Are there any providers that you don't work with?
It's usually, I've got a full whole of market, but there is like some unique ones that we probably don't have. But if I have an agency, I'll go and find it. Like today, I've got a client who I can't help, who is suffering with MS, only young, and I've tried my best with all of the providers to try and get her some cover, but I can't. So what I've done is I've tried to research a company that may offer a cover. And I've applied for an agency because I want to be able to have that agency so I can get her some cover. So no, we've got the whole of market and just work with all of the providers. So Zurich, L&G, LV, Aviva, Royal London. I've got, I can't remember how many agencies. Yeah,
I'm going to ask a question for those cynical minds out there. So, like, talking to you, it just sounds like such a perfect solution for your family, for what you're trying to give to other people. So there'll be some people going, so what's the catch? Does Cover My Bubble charge extra or only work with certain companies? How do you earn a living from it?
Yeah, no, I do. I know some companies do, but I don't believe in charging fees to clients at all. We get paid from the insurance provider. So everything we do, if a client comes through to us, they don't pay a penny to us at all. They just pay the monthly premiums directly to the insurance provider, and that's it. No, I don't believe in it. Why should you have to? It's just the only thing that I say is do go to an expert. Try not to do it online, because there is cases out there where people might say, oh, they don't pay out, they don't do that. The reason why they haven't paid out is because you've done it online yourself and you've missed something or done something wrong, or another broker has done it and they've rushed through it and they've missed information on your application, or you haven't told someone. Online I heard of a client who didn't disclose that he had a blood disorder, and he did not tell the insurance broker that. He didn't think that he needed to, and he didn't get paid out on his policy. They're the type of things that you hear in the stories, but to me, we've had 2 claims since we've started in 2 years, and they've both been paid out. And for the lady that had breast cancer, the insurance provider never needed to pay out, but they did.
I'm really sorry if you can hear a hamster in the background every now and again. Like, I keep thinking, like if you see my arm going to the side, I'm like trying to stop its wheel from turning around, just by poking my finger through the bars.
Oh, I can't hear it. I was worried about the dogs. Like, my husband's crawled under once because she started barking at the front door, so I was like, ow!
Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. I think hopefully people who watch this will be able to go, oh, okay, so I know a bit clearer now. So when it comes to life insurance, you can have it if you don't have a mortgage, critical illness, what that's for and things like that. So thank you so much for spending the time with us today.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us. Really appreciate it. Thank you.